Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you happen to be watching this. I hope you're having a good day. Today I want to talk about the annotated bib. I want to mention the couple of change and due dates, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands what this annotated bibliography assignment is all about. As always, all images were borrowed from the web. The quoted text is borrowed from the web. They're used for educational purposes. I'm not trying to monetize this video. I'm just trying to help my students who miss class catch up and be in an easy way, in a way that's centrally located. The due dates for the papers have changed a little bit. The proposal is now due on February 2nd. Happy Groundhog Day in advance. The annotated bib is due the 7th. I think we can still make that work. A quick reminder that conferences will be the 9th through the 14th. The sign-up sheet is going to start in class today. If you are missing class, please stop by the office or, I'll try to have it in class again on Wednesday. And again, remember that the research paper will be due the 21st after we finish conferences, after everybody's had a chance to work on revising and editing and getting the paper in the best shape possible. I guess I should have clicked on the slide a second sooner so that we have the due date reminder up there. Let's get on with it. The basics of an annotated bib, as I've said before, is it combines a works cited page with a summary and response paper. The works cited page citation for each article. If you look down at number 6, quick reminder that entries on a works cited page are in alphabetical order. The entries in the annotated bib should also be in alphabetical order. Write a 3 or 4 sentence summary of the article, a 1 or 2 paragraph response to the article. Each annotation should be 200 to 250 words, and the annotated bib should cover 2 sources that you will actually use in your research paper. This is not an additional assignment doing additional research. This is you have found 4 to 10 sources. You are skimming those sources, and as part of skimming and evaluating, you are just writing out the evaluation that you have. The summary should be really brief, 3-4 sentences. First of all, who are the authors? What are their qualifications? Remember, in a lot of ways, what the authors are doing is writing their own research paper. It might be at a much higher level than any of us are writing, but they are writing their own research paper. And so what we're doing is looking at their thesis. We're identifying the points that they're using to develop the thesis, and we're just going to do that in brief fashion, 2 or 3 sentences about the points they're making and how they're developing their thesis. 1 sentence saying this is the author's thesis, 1 sentence identifying the authors and their qualifications. As I said, 3 or 4 sentences total. The evaluative paragraph should be the meat of the entry. It should be more coherent than the image I have up here on screen, but you're looking at the strengths of the article. Does it comparing and contrasting it to other articles you have skimmed, other articles you have read? What about the thesis or what about the supporting detail may contradict your hypothesis, the points you want to make? As you are reading, are there other avenues that you want to explore, other things that you want to deal with? For example, if you're reading about the Astros cheating scandal and you find out that the Cleveland Indians in the 1940s also cheated by having a telescope out in center field to steal signs, do you want to look at other sign stealing things as well, not just the Astros? Whatever it is, make sure that you are dealing with the, as much as possible, looking at all the options and then making sure that you narrow down those options to something that's manageable for the length of the research paper. In short, you're using this 200 to 250 words to say, this article will help me, here's how. Cite the sources in proper MLA format. the author's last name, comma, author's first name, period, the title of the article in quotation marks, the journal it comes from in italics, if given, the volume, the issue, the year of publication, what database did you get it from? Put all of that information in there. Finally, some quick rubrics. Are your citations properly using the MLA format, or are you just copying and pasting a URL in there for me? Make sure you have a complete MLA format. Do you have the author's qualifications? Do you have the author's thesis? Do you explain how the article will or will not be useful to the paper? You can tell me that this article isn't helpful and you're glad you skimmed over it and you're not relying on it for your paper because it's just not going to do what you need to. That can be part of the early research too. What works? What doesn't? What can you use to develop your hypothesis? And what doesn't move the needle for you? Finally, are those two entries in alphabetical order by first word of the entry. So perhaps you don't have an author, then the first letter of the article title, and if it is the author, are they both in alphabetical order? And as always, the Mount Marty expressing self. You don't really have much of a thesis here, but have you organized well, you do have a thesis, excuse me. Let me backtrack on that. You do have a thesis when you're talking about this is how it's going to help me. So do you organize it to explain to your reader clearly how it helps you? And you don't need a lot of critical support, but a little bit would be useful. And again, good sentence structure, avoid the errors, and we'll kind of go from there. I hope this clarifies the annotated bib for you. This should not be scary. This should not be time consuming. This should not be an extra. What this is getting a paper submitted or getting an assignment submitted, doing what you should do as part of research anyway. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, stop by the office. I hope everyone has a great day. Hope to see you in class the next class period.